So we are here today at the cafe of Dilip Rupa. We've got the Queen above when she was just been crowned, and we've got the New Zealand original flag, which you'll hear more about, I'm quite sure. And I've come to talk with Dilip because I heard just a few days ago about a court case that you were involved in. And won pretty convincingly, it sounds like. And my reaction was, why do people not know about this? So could we start off by you telling us the circumstances of this case? First of all, what was it over?
Well, it's over the QR code because we didn't put the QR code up. And the main reason why I couldn't get a QR code was because I have a license which is has this flag on it, not the flag you guys have. And they wouldn't give it to me, so my wife had to make the application even though that was wrong. And we did eventually get a QR code, and I put pink triangles on it. I can show you a video of it later. And people, we have the company up the road here, which is an advertising company. They've got the rainbow flag up there, and they've got no inkling of why I put pink triangles on this QR code thing. The pink triangles represents what the gays were labelled as during the concentration camps by the Nazis, and we've got no constitutional background on what our QR codes were capable of doing. If Hitler had the QR code, he wouldn't have to have the triangles because he could embed that information in a computer system, which is what the QR code is capable of doing. And we've got no, we were not given any information of how the information is stored, who's storing it, what capturing it is, who it's shared with, or anything. So that was my main objection against the QR code. But I did it via my MP, who is Chloe, and Chloe has been totally useless because she's not covered the aspect on it constitutionally, and she allowed it to go to court without intervention.
So you contacted her? This is Chloe Swarbrick.
Yes, I sent emails. I even said, look, because she didn't have an electorate office. I said, look, come down to Rupa's. We got a lot of room here. Just come down. We'll close the cafe for you, so you can speak quietly with us, or just do it as while the cafe's open. It's fine. We got lots of room here. Easy, come down. She wouldn't come down, and that's because the hidden agenda behind the QR code. And when this is now starting to come out, the reasoning behind setting people up to get used to the QR code.
So you had QR codes up, you had your own version with the pink triangle. Who was it then that objected to that?
Well, no, because I didn't have them in the first place, I was charged.
All right, now who was that doing that?
Well, that was WorkSafe. So what's happened since is that I was supposed to have a trial last year on the 12th of March, 2021. And because the judge knew me, she was Kevin Ryan's daughter, Claire Ryan, the case was she couldn't hear it. So after that case, the TVNZ reporter who was there, Andrew McFarlane, I videoed him on his way back to TVNZ, and I asked him a question which is relevant to jurisdiction. And he wouldn't answer that. And I says, look, we have a treaty, we have the Declaration of Independence, and we need to know what the true jurisdiction of this land is. TVNZ has had since the 12th of March 2021 to date, which is over a year, to do something about it. They haven't touched it. The case for the QR has been adjourned twice. And its final, so they said the trial was going to be last Thursday. So I turned up. But in that meantime, what I've done is I've set up the Minister for WorkSafe, who is also the Minister of Transport. And I sent a letter to him at a period which is very important because The last Governor General we had, she finished on the 30th of September. The new Governor General, the new Ngāpuhi Governor General, didn't swear oath until the 21st, or 3 weeks after, the 21st of October. And what's important about that is it's 7 days before the 28th of October, which is when this flag came up in 1835. And because there was no Governor General, sworn Governor General, the Minister of Work Safe Transport had an obligation to place the matter before the Queen, our constitutional monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. He didn't do so. That brings in a very complex issue. The fact is, as a minister, he had a duty to do that, constitutionally. What he's done is he's denied our Queen, our constitutional monarch, the right to information that there is a concern of the fact that we have a dilemma regarding this flag and regarding the jurisdiction of the courts. And that's what the case was on the 7th of April.
It was the 7th of April.
Was that, yeah.
This
and,
month, yeah.
Yes. And I think you've got an audio of it. And it goes directly to the judge, and the judge was told in no uncertain terms, it doesn't matter what you do in this court, you have to prove the jurisdiction of the court is lawful. And that's really what this is about. And it doesn't matter what your ruling is, because I'm waiting for your ruling, and that will go directly to the Governor General.
So you basically shut that case down. You just told the judge that she did not have the jurisdiction to hear that trial?
Well,
to hear your case?
Yes, I did tell the judge that no, she did have jurisdiction if she could prove it. Proof of claim.
And she hadn't tried to prove it, and
she said
that.
She has to do that. And that's why the whole nation now has to wait for this. In fact, the whole world should be waiting for whether this judge can prove it. And the point is, I made it very clear, she has not got the authority to do that. She has to pass it on to someone who does have authority, and the only one that can be passed on to is the Governor General.
And she seemed to accept that. I watched that. That was what got me so interested. And
you heard it.
On someone's phone. She just dismissed. Will you have to go back again at another point?
Well, the point is this: is that as long as everyone knows that this is what I've been doing, the question is, everyone now has a right to say, prove your jurisdiction. There's no necessity for me to go back to any court, and no one has to go back to court, especially those who've been involved with QR codes and WorkSafe, because the Minister of WorkSafe, and I made it clear in that audio, I said the Minister of WorkSafe and WorkSafe's lawyers, Ben Finn, has failed in his duty, and I've actually laid a complaint with the Law Society on the ethics, and they haven't come back yet. Which shows you they have their ethics are questionable, and the whole point is, do we have a lawful jurisdiction or not? Now, I'm not protesting, I'm contesting. And this is the difference between what everyone else does. Everyone protests, which is for test. I'm contest, I'm against the test. I say that you do not have authority, please prove it. If you can't prove your authority clearly and lawfully, then there's a problem. And it comes down to a vital point of what happened on the 6th of February. And everything boils down to an hour after the treaty was signed. And that proves all the legalities of whether this jurisdiction is lawful or not. Because this flag here behind us, this rose...
So maybe you could go right back to the beginning, 1835, for people who don't know about that.
In 1835, the Declaration of Independence was signed, and a year prior to that, it was chosen by the chiefs, and when they signed the declaration, afterwards, that's required that you have to hoist the flag up to show that this is a jurisdictional flag. It was on the 28th of October. On the 6th of February, which is the date of the signing of the treaty, this flag was not lowered. Therefore, this is the flag that's jurisdictional.
So I understand there was a flag lowered, but it wasn't that
The
one.
flag that was lowered, and this is what's important, is this is the Boer War medals. And I've asked the museum, the military museum, to explain why they don't have any of the Boer War medals.
So it looks very similar, but it hasn't got, the stars don't have 8 points?
No, the difference is this is the true one,
Yeah.
and this is, I call it the counterfeit, because
Yeah.
a counterfeit is something that looks very similar, but isn't. So if you have a $100 note and it doesn't have the watermark in it, it's not real. This doesn't have the watermark, it's not real.
So
It is untrue.
hoisting
So-
a counterfeit flag in 1835, that sounds quite a serious thing to
No,
do.
no, in 1835 this was hoisted. This
Yeah,
is the
sorry,
true, this
in
is the true
1840.
flag.
In 1840.
On the 6th of February 1840,
Yeah.
after the treaty was signed, this was not lowered, because they couldn't
Yeah.
lower this because
Yeah.
it's a proclamated flag of King
Yeah.
William IV. Instead, they used this
Yeah,
flag.
and then they took that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Said it was this one.
this is pointed out in the TVNZ the letter, which is on the TVNZ letter, which clearly states all of that, and it states that there was a counterfeit flag.
Mm.
I don't use the word counterfeit. I use the word counterfeit for a simple reason. If it's not the real flag, it's counterfeit. And that's as simple as you go. So, because a counterfeit flag was lowered, how could this jurisdiction lawfully be entered? It couldn't. So when the Union Jack rose after the treaty was signed, is the Union Jack rising make that a lawful jurisdiction? That's the point of law that has been kept away
Not
from
if
us.
the lawful flag has never been lowered.
That's true. So we had a flag referendum, and this point was not brought up by the media, and they failed in their duty to inform. But what's worse is that in a democratic process, those who were involved in that process also failed. The only reason why we can bring this issue forward now is because there was the Flag Referendum Select Committee, and this flag here, two people went down to Wellington, made presentation before the Select Committee, and the Select Committee, one of the members kept saying this flag was not recognised, and he said it a third time, this flag was not recognised, and I asked him, please provide evidence, and immediately the chair of the Flag Referendum Committee, Select Committee, closed the meeting straight away and cleared the chambers, and that was it. So that question has not been answered, and that is the vital part of what the reason was that question was not answered. And the reason is speculation on my behalf, but I would like it verified by this judge, which we went to court on, to specify precisely what was it. I don't think that the judge would be acting ultra vires, that means beyond her power, because this is not a matter for the judge, it is a matter for a full proper inquiry, and this is what the action is about that. This is Kingi Taurua. He was the kaumātua at the Lower Marae in Waitangi, and he's an ex-SAS guy, he knows his stuff, and he's endorsed this, that the matter there should be a Royal Commission of Inquiry into the reason why this flag was not part of that referendum. And then we'll know where our constitution lies.
So what's our chance of getting a royal commission? Is that the route you would like us to go?
Mr. Ruti, not only I, obviously Kingi Taurua. And there is, so everyone has been blocking it, including the Prime Minister.
And they're not really legitimate until that happens.
A proper inquiry is required by external people, law lords, because our judiciary cannot be trusted because they maintain this hiding the information. So there's no way anyone can trust anyone in the judiciary or in Parliament or in the legal system, because they are well aware of it, and if they aren't aware of it, they have been made aware of it.
So we have all over the country, we have courts sitting 5 days a week. You are actually saying that none of them really have jurisdiction at this moment.
No, I've asked, I'm not saying that. I've actually asked the judge to prove in the case.
But they haven't proved.
She's been given a week to date. She has not done so. I'm waiting for a period of time. This brings me up to this point, as I was delivered this letter, which is unmarked. I've covered up the thing, but I can tell that because of the way it's worded, the capital letters, full capital letters, means that it's either from WorkSafe or it's from the courts. As you can see, there's nothing on the back. And if I open it up now, we'll, because I know it's an official letter from either WorkSafe or the courts, whatever's in here will be going to the Governor to the Attorney General, so that this matter, he takes this matter directly to the Governor General, because I'm not going to deal with anything that's sent to me from a court or WorkSafe unless the decision has been, the ruling has been made of how they, and it's proven beyond all doubt that there's a lawful jurisdiction. And that is the matter that goes to the Governor General. It doesn't matter if they can prove it or not. I will be able to see whether it is lawful, and it is a matter for, let's face it, we need a Royal Commission of Inquiry by independent law lords who are knowledgeable, and we have this totally transparent and open, that we all find out what exactly is the true jurisdiction of this land.
You're going to open this?
Well, I will.
Can we talk about the actual name of the flag?
Well, there are many names for it. So I'll just, it says that it's for a defended hearing, new hearing. Notice to defend of a new hearing date. Well, hey, they haven't come back with the...
That'll be just like the last one.
Well,
what's the difference?
Well, the point is, this is, I shall be sending this back to the Auckland courts. And this was done on the date of the Auckland courts was this on the 7th of April. So therefore, there are what you hear on the audio proves that they're not even going to entertain proving that their jurisdiction is lawful. They're just going to go straight away and allow this matter to be heard, to take another charge, claiming that their jurisdiction is lawful. This is fully tactical.
Will you attend?
No, why should I?
Yeah.
Because the point is this, like I said, I need confirmation from the Attorney General. The Attorney General is not a district court judge. And we need to start realising that district court judges do not have the authority, and nor does the court have the authority to demand anyone do anything until there is jurisdictional proof. And this is going to the Governor General, to the Attorney General, and I'll be requesting the Commission of Inquiry demanding an Attorney General to do so. And the main reason behind that is because the Minister for WorkSafe Transport, he was required to present that to the Governor General and the Queen when there was no sworn-in Governor General. This is violation of law, constitutional rules. And if I go to the court because of this and because of bullying, it is because people have failed to say, let's defend. Because you have to defend your rights. It's not just up to me. I'm doing it, I've done it. It's time everyone else started to say, no, hold on, we want this sorted. And we're coming up to ANZAC Day. This is after ANZAC Day, the 27th. So this is not on. This is totally unacceptable.
Well, for instance, there were 140 people arrested in Wellington. Do you have a final word to them?
Well, everyone who was arrested and got charged, there's apparently $340,000 worth of fines from WorkSafe. Everyone who's got a fine or that, don't need to start getting
QR codes,
whatever, the WorkSafe, yeah. We all need to join together as a group, but everyone else also needs to get behind us and start realising that we have a media which is not the fourth estate, who is not telling the truth and letting this information out there. And this information has to be out there because we need to stand. We need to make a stand. This is lawful, it's constitutional, and it's correct. And if we allow the police to come in because the courts order them, then the pressure needs to be put on the police because the courts have failed. Now, if the police are going to honour a warrant from a court which can't prove jurisdiction, why should we trust the police? The police also have a duty to honour their oath, and their oath is to the sovereign lady in the police. Here's the sovereign lady in the police.
Yeah. So we're talking about a class action suit?
No, we're talking about democratic action. This is not about class action. You're referring to the court. This is constitutional. We need to ask our attorney, the Attorney General, do your job, buddy. You know, we need to ask the Prime Minister, how come you have violated our constitutional rights? And she has. I can say that out totally, because I know my mate Ike Fanau, who is the signatory to this, she won't give him an appointment even though she's her constituent. And why won't she give him an appointment? Because she knows the jurisdiction is not lawful, or they can't prove it lawful. We're giving them the opportunity to prove the lawfulness of this jurisdiction.
That's Chloe.
No, this is Ike is in Mount Albert, and his constituent MP is Jacinta Ardern, the Prime Minister.
Oh, right. And it's been 4 years or something that they've been trying to get an appointment.
She won't give him an appointment. And
should be his right to do that.
Well, no, it's not his right. It's everyone's right to have it. And that's where even Chloe failed to do her duty as a constituent MP. Is that first and foremost is not your party. It's your constituents. That's who you are there to represent. Your party's second. Chloe only represents her party or whatever she wants to. That's the duty for every MP is their member of parliament to represent their constituents. Their constituents are the boss. They are the ones who you have to represent. Nothing else. Everything else is secondary. That's the rules of our constitution.
Yeah. So I hope people can see from this just how important this is, not just for this one case here, but really for all New Zealanders. This is a constitutional dilemma and really needs to be resolved. So I was amazed earlier that there had been so little coverage of this case, and I'm I'm just hoping that this has brought some attention to it and the media will follow this.
He's just going to.
But I
Yeah, we have-
started recording another
We
one.
have two of them, so I kept going. So I just hope we can have a media that will follow this, and there will be follow-ups, the next step.
Well,
Maybe we come and speak to you again.
the responsibility is to demand the media to realise that their job is more important than just gas bagging, which they currently do. It is they have a job, and it's what is known as the fourth estate, and their job is to keep an eye on the other three estates. The estates are the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature and the constabulary, and that's the control factors. Those three estates. The fourth estate is supposed to make sure that they stay honest and orderly.
They're not exactly doing that.
Have you bought out 55 million?
Well, it doesn't matter what it is. The fact is, it's our democratic right, and we need to say to them in no uncertain terms, either you tell the truth or, let's just get real. We don't want to give you any financial support. And that will make them realise that no financial support from us and us telling them that they're not doing their job. It's better to have no media than having a media that's covering up. And at the moment, the media is doing cover-ups.
They've been bought and sold.
So I think we'll make a date to see you again when this has taken another step, and I hope people now are thinking about this constitutional dilemma that is affecting the whole of the country.
Well, where it comes important is that ANZAC Day is coming up.
Yeah.
That's on the 25th. Now, what's important is on this is a Boer War medal for New Zealand soldiers. They were the first returned soldiers. Now, we have a RSA, Returned Servicemen's Association, and they do not, on ANZAC Day, this flag is not at any parade. And one needs to ask the question, have we forgotten the Boer War soldiers? Or has the RSA forgotten, purposely not wanting to remember the Boer War soldiers, because what's on this medal is the counterfeit flag that was lowered when the treaty was signed. And that's most likely the real reason. But Kingi Taurua, this was Kingi Taurua, he asked that question of the RSA, and they did not respond. So that shows you how much respect the RSA has for soldiers.
Yeah. Dilip Rupert, thank you very much.
No worries, my problem. My pleasure.